Good morning. Economics are AS, inflation. I want to talk about inflation. Inflation simply means a persistent rise in the prices of goods and services within the economy. So it means the price continues to increase over time. And what would have brought about increase in price? One of the reasons why we could have increase in price is based on the fact that demand is increasing. So an increase in demand for goods or services will bring about increase in price. Because as soon as price increases, producers, they have to react or respond towards that increase in price. Because that's an opportunity for them to make more profit. So, and to make more profit, they have to increase the price. So basically, we have inflation based on the fact that price continues to increase as a result of increasing demand within the economy. So we get to know further anyway. Inflation, I wrote, can be defined as a persistent rise in the general price level of goods and services within the economy. So goods and services, their prices continue to rise over time. And if it continues to rise over time, that means there's inflation within that economy. We have deflation. Deflation is simply the opposite of inflation, which means a fall in the general price level. A rise in the general price level is inflation. A fall in the general price level is deflation. Do you understand the difference between inflation and deflation here? A rise and a fall. Then we have disinflation. For disinflation, it simply means a fall in the rate of inflation. There's a difference between a fall in the general price level and a fall in the rate of inflation. So if there's a fall in the rate of inflation, let's say the inflation rate in Libya is around, better stop those things now. If, for example, let's say there's an interest rate or there's inflation rate of 2.5% in Libya, that is the inflation rate. Now it reduces to 2.4, 2.3. This is not price level, this is the inflation rate. So this means there's disinflation. But if price continues to rise or fall, that's inflation or deflation. Do we get the difference between disinflation and inflation here? There's inflation if the general price level is increasing. There's deflation if the general price level is falling. But if the rate of inflation is falling, then we call it disinflation. Do you get disinflation here? The rate itself is falling. This is not the price, this is the rate. The percentage change in the price level, that is inflation. This is what we call disinflation. The rate of inflation is reducing, not the price level. If the price level is falling, we call it deflation. If the inflation rate is falling, we call it disinflation. Please don't model them together. Disinflation is different from deflation. Deflation is linked to price. Disinflation is linked to the change in the rate of inflation. Are they clear, please? Then what are the causes of inflation? There are two causes of inflation. The first one is demand pull inflation, and the second one is cost push inflation. So we're going to start with demand pull inflation. Why do we call it demand pull inflation? It's demand pull inflation because it comes as a result of increasing demand within the economy. So it means there's excess demand within the economy. As soon as there's excess demand within the economy, producers will respond by increasing the price of the product. So I wrote, demand pull inflation. This is inflation caused by excess demand within the economy. As soon as demand increases within the economy, producers respond by raising their prices. So they increase their prices as soon as demand increases. It simply means consumers want more of our products. And because they want more of our products, we can increase the price of the product. Because it's an opportunity for them to make more profits and revenue. So what are the reasons why we could have increasing aggregate demand within the economy? Before I go into the reasons, what is aggregate demand? Aggregate demand simply means the total demand within the economy. That means the total, not individual demand. For individual demand, we're talking about the demand for education, we're talking about the demand for banking, we're talking about demand for goods. But here we're talking about the total demand within the economy, which comprises everything within the economy. That is what aggregate demand is, and it's simply our national spending or national expenditure. So when national expenditure is increasing, that means spending is increasing within the economy. Firms understand this and they respond by increasing their price. So that is what we call demand pull inflation. Do you understand demand pull inflation here? So what are the reasons? One, excessive consumer spending. Why would consumers spend more? That is the point. Why would consumers spend more? One of the reasons why consumers may spend more is because the interest rate is falling. If the interest rate is falling within the economy, it simply means people have more access to take loans from the bank. As a result of that, their disposable income and purchasing power would increase. So if purchasing power increases, it will bring about excessive consumer spending. So demand will increase within the economy. That's increasing aggregate demand. The second one, firms may substantially increase their spending on capital goods. Based on the fact that the economy is moving well, demand for goods and services are increasing. Firms have to respond by making sure that they are able to provide goods or produce goods and services to meet the needs of customers. So because they have to meet the needs of customers, they might have to invest more on capital goods. So demand for capital goods will increase. The second point is about the firms. We are adjusting their output, their capacity. So they demand for more goods, more capital goods, and that might bring about increasing aggregate demand. The third one, government spending. There's one called fiscal policy, which is the use of taxes. Are you here? The use of taxes or spending to manipulate the economy. So if government wants to increase or influence aggregate demand within the economy, we call it expansionary aggregate demand, or expansionary fiscal policy. If government wants to use expansionary fiscal policy, government would increase spending, which is subsidy, and cut taxes. So cutting taxes means disposable income will increase for consumers. We have more income to ourselves. Stop that already and focus here. If government reduces taxes or cuts taxes, it means the amount of money available to individuals would increase. That increases our purchasing power, and that increases our level of spending. That would bring about increasing aggregate demand, which will lead to inflation. Government might increase its spending. If government increases spending, it means goods and services become affordable for consumers. And if it becomes affordable for consumers, we demand for more. Based on the law of demand, the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So if government increases its spending or cuts taxes, demand for goods and services will increase in the economy. And as a result of that, it will bring about inflation. Now the next one, world demand for exports. What is export? Selling to foreign customers. If there's a boom within the world, or globally, there's boom globally, it means income level has increased over time in the world. As soon as income level increases, we demand for more import and export, yes or no? So that could bring about increasing demand for goods and services too. And the last one that will cause demand pull inflation is through the central bank. The central bank of a country might make money accessible in terms of supply of money. And if there's increasing supply of money, it means different households have a lot of money with them. And because they have a lot of money, maybe because they are able to get or facilitate loans, if they have a lot of money with them, they would increase their spending. And that will bring about demand pull inflation. Do you understand the causes of demand pull inflation here? So any reason here will bring about increasing aggregate demand within the economy. And as soon as the aggregate demand increases in the economy, it brings about inflation. So it can be graphically represented as this. So the first thing we think about is the aggregate demand in the economy increasing. So if aggregate demand is increasing with the economy, it will shift rightward from AD1 to AD2. As soon as aggregate demand increases within the economy, based on the following reasons here. As soon as aggregate demand increases within the economy, based on the following reasons here, the AD curve will shift rightward from AD1 to AD2. As soon as this occurs, firms will increase their price from P1 to P2. Get the point here? Any of the reasons here will shift the aggregate demand curve rightward from AD1 to AD2. And as soon as this increases, firms will respond by increasing the price of the product from P1 to P2. And as soon as this happens, then there's inflation. Do you understand inflation here? So the inflation that is caused by an increase in aggregate demand within the economy is called demand pull inflation. So that ends it for now.